Hi there and welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Katie. I am a neurologic physical therapist that specializes in Parkinson's care. Today's video is all about Parkinson's specific education and information, so come check it out. Welcome to our discussion on the gut-brain connection with Parkinson's and understanding the link and lifestyle treatment. So, in this presentation, we are going to talk about and discuss the research as to why Parkinson's starts actually in your gut and not in the brain, and why the first symptom, because of that, is constipation usually. And then we'll talk about research-supported treatments to address the gut difficulties that people commonly experience with Parkinson's. All right, so I do want to first talk a little bit about the gut-brain connection and what it actually entails and what it is. So it is a complex communication between your gut and your brain. You have nerves and chemicals that carry messages similar to what you can think of like a telephone line, how it connects two different people to talk on either end. Same thing with your gut and your brain. There is a communication system. And the components of this gut-brain axis is your gut microbiome, which we'll talk a little bit more about, your vagus nerve that operates as that communication line, that telephone line that connects the two, the gut and the brain, as well as components of it are the immune system. Our gut microbiome refers to the millions and trillions of little microorganisms found in our gut and outside of our gut. So this includes bacteria, viruses, fungi, other organisms. These microorganisms play a critical role in the health of our digestive system. They support immune support and even function of our mood and our brain and our hearts. And a balance of these microbes is really important, but with Parkinson's too, it is really important for normal gut motility and to decrease inflammation. But with Parkinson's, it is found that there is a disruption of this gut microbiome compared to other people that do not have Parkinson's. So studies show that people with Parkinson's have different gut microbiome compared to people that don't. People with Parkinson's experience less diverse bacteria in their gut microbiome. They experience more increased harmful bacteria, which causes inflammation. They experience fewer good bacteria, and people with Parkinson's experience an imbalance of bacterial groups, meaning that there is an overabundance of certain kinds of bacteria and scarcity of other kinds of bacteria. And it's really important to have a pretty good balance and ratio of all your different bacteria in your gut. One problem in Parkinson's is that, and the reason why it is proposed and thought that it starts in the gut is because with Parkinson's, I know you might have heard this term before, alpha-synuclein. It's a protein that gets misfolded and clumps together in your brain. It causes Lewy body. And these clumps actually have been thought in the research to actually originate in your gut. So research has found that these clumps start in your gut, in your small intestines and large intestines and your stomach, many years actually before they even transport into your brain. So the bacteria in our gut cause these proteins, the bad bacteria, the mix of not enough good bacteria, cause these proteins to misbehave within your gut. So what happens is this inflammation and these different kinds of bacteria basically cause a reaction to cause these proteins, alpha-synucleins, to clump, form Lewy bodies in your gut. And then how it actually gets to your brain is through that vagus nerve. So you know how we talked about one of the components of the gut-brain connection is the vagus nerve. That the idea is that these misfolded proteins, the Lewy bodies, go through the vagus nerve all the way up to your brain. And this is why the gut and your brain are so closely connected to Parkinson's. Also, in Parkinson's, many people experience what we call a leaky gut. And that is a condition where the lining of the small intestines becomes damaged, allowing undigested food particles, toxins, bacteria to leak through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream. This issue is often caused by an imbalance within the gut microbiome. This leak can lead to a spread of those alpha synuclein protein clumps to form not only in the gut, but to leave and leak outside into the bloodstream, potentially compromising the blood-brain barrier. As a result, it causes this systemic inflammation and all of these misfolded proteins, clumps of proteins to aggregate in your bloodstream and out and into your brain. Constipation, gastrointestinal dysfunction are some of the most common and most troublesome non-motor symptoms with Parkinson's. About 70% of people with Parkinson's do experience constipation. And it often begins first before even any of the movement symptoms. So I want you all to think back to when you first got diagnosed. Did you potentially experience some type of GI discomfort or constipation prior to any of the other movement symptoms? So think back if you can remember what it was like for you. And constipation is thought to be an early symptom because of the nerve changes. So Parkinson's can start affecting the nerves of the gut before the brain. Also related to those protein clumps, so those abnormal proteins, the alpha-synuclein proteins may begin in the gut causing these problems, as well as related to inflammation. So changes in the bacteria within the gut microbiome can cause inflammatory responses and disrupt normal digestion. Also, constipation occurs because, and this happens later in the disease course, movement becomes slower. So within your gut, there are muscles. And with Parkinson's, as you've experienced, movement becomes slower, the muscles move slower. So the muscles within your gut, the GI motility is slowed. Also, the muscles within your GI system become weaker, making it harder to push food and break down your food. And like we talked about, that gut-brain connection becomes weaker over time, impairing that connection. So now that we have explored the idea of this gut-brain connection and why it is proposed that Parkinson's actually originates in your gut, I do want to talk about some research-backed lifestyle treatments that you can implement, and then we'll talk some more about some medical treatments as well. So let's get into talking about lifestyle treatments to help improve your gut motility, promote better bacteria, reduce the inflammation within your gut, and promote better gut microbiome. So, some of these you might already know and be familiar with. Of course, it is always a good refresher. So one of the best strategies to improve your gut health is increasing fiber. When your gut bacteria breaks down fiber, it naturally produces healthy boosting short chain fatty acids. And these acids boost the gut's mucus barrier to fight inflammation, and it helps protect your brain as well. Using fiber is a way to treat your constipation. It is recommended 14 grams of fiber for every 1,000 calories. So typically, most people are on a 2,000 calorie diet, so 28 grams of fiber. And most people, most Americans, to be honest, get half that, if that. Ways you can get fiber are through eating lots of, filling your plate half up with fruits and vegetables and whole grains, like you can see here, and beans and nuts and things like that to get your fiber in. You might have heard this before and seen people talk about the Mediterranean diet, but this plant-fueled diet with high consumption of fruits and vegetables, known as the Mediterranean style diet, really helps increase the beneficial bacteria within your gut. And it also helps reduce inflammation in the gut lining and oxidative stress. And oxidative stress, what that is that causes cell and protein damage, which causes a loss of dopamine production, producing cells. So this diet is recommended, and the things that are recommended are fruits and vegetables. So what is really recommended within the fruits and vegetables category is lots of tomatoes, spinach, oranges, whole grains, like brown rice and oats, legumes, so beans, lentils, chickpeas is really recommended. Nuts and seeds, so almonds, walnuts, and sunflower seeds. Olive oil, so you want to use that as a primary fat. Fish, lots of fish and seafood, particularly salmon, sardines, mackerel, herring, and shrimp. Eggs and poultry are recommended too within this diet, but within moderation. Herbs and spices to make things taste more flavorful as well, such as basil, oregano, and garlic. And all of the ones that I just listed, and this whole list is actually tied to slower Parkinson's disease progression, eating these kinds of foods. Based on the literature, this is the recommended frequency that you should be trying to eat each of these food groups. So daily servings, daily servings, it's very important to get your fruits, your legumes, your vegetables, your whole grains, your olive oil. A few times per week, that fish and seafood. Daily to weekly, this is just based on the Mediterranean diet. Dairy we'll talk about is kind of more like a no-no, really. But eggs and poultry on this daily to weekly manner. And you want to think about meats and sweets like your red meats and things like that on more of a monthly basis. And this kind of diet, as mentioned, is designed to help reduce the inflammation, the oxidative stress, and promote good bacteria.